Be me, Wesley, 22. Third-year electrical engineering student, living off crushed ramen packets and tap water. My apartment looks like a bomb went off in a Best Buy. Wires everywhere. Half-finished projects on the kitchen counter. I haven't slept 8 hours since high school. Dating life is completely non-existent. Just endless swiping on apps while sitting on a mattress that doesn't have a bed frame. Everything feels fake. Everyone feels exhausting. Then I match with Margot. Her profile has exactly 2 pictures. First one is a super blurry close-up of a messy desk, empty coffee mugs and custom keyboard parts scattered everywhere. Second picture is just her. Thick black frames, messy hair pulled back in a claw clip, staring directly into the camera like she's completely fed up with the entire concept of taking a photo. The bio is just a paragraph of pure desperation. I dropped my CPU and bent the pins on the motherboard. Campus repair wants $200 and they won't even promise they can fix it. If you actually know what you're doing and have steady hands, swipe right. I am literally begging. I can't afford a new one. No jokes, no clever puns. Just a cry for help disguised as a dating profile. I swipe right immediately. Message her. I build rigs. I can probably bend them back. How bad is it? She replies before I even put the phone down. 3 pins. Bottom left corner. It's really bad. Can we meet? I can't sleep. I feel sick just looking at it. I tell her, yeah, we can meet. Main Street Roasters. Tuesday, 4 p.m. She says, please don't ghost me. I really need this. Tuesday rolls around. I put on a clean gray Henley. Try to flatten my hair so I look like someone who can be trusted with expensive hardware. I get to the cafe early. It's packed. Indie folk music blasting. Everyone pretending to study while glaring at each other. I grab a tiny wobbly table in the back corner. Sit facing the door. Exactly at 4, the door opens. Margot walks in. She's wearing a heavy green canvas jacket and black jeans, carrying a giant silver anti-static bag crushed against her chest like it's a baby. She looks terrified, eyes darting around. She spots me and basically speed walks over. Wesley? She says. Voice is shaky. I start to stand up. Hey, yeah, it's nice to... She drops the heavy silver bag on the wobbly table. It makes a loud thud. A guy studying next to us looks over and glares. Margot doesn't even notice him. I know we didn't order coffee yet, she says, talking really fast, but I'm shaking. My hands are literally shaking too much to do this. If I try to fix it, I'll snap them off, and then it's garbage. She looks at me, eyes wide, genuinely distressed. Please tell me you actually know how to do this, and you weren't just lying on the app. I look at the bag. I look at her. I wasn't lying, I say. Okay, she exhales. Okay. She unzips the bag just a few inches, pulls out a tiny pen flashlight, a jeweler's magnifying loupe, and a sewing needle taped to a piece of cardboard. She lines them up on the table next to the sugar packets. I brought the tools, she says. Her voice drops to a whisper. Please just look at it. I glance around. We're in a crowded cafe. I whisper back. I know, she says, rubbing her forehead. I'm sorry. I just couldn't wait. My roommate was driving me crazy asking about it. I just need to know if it's dead. I sigh, pull the bag toward me, slide the motherboard out just enough to see the socket. She clicks on the pen light and shines it perfectly on the corner. She doesn't say anything. She's just breathing heavily next to me. I look through the loop. 3 pins, smashed down hard, but not snapped. I can fix this, I say. Margot lets out a sound that is half sob, half cough. Really? Yeah, get me the needle. I lean my elbows on the table to stabilize my hands. The table wobbles. I kick my foot under the leg to wedge it. Slide the needle under the first pin. Gently pry it up. It moves. I push it into alignment. She leans in so close I can smell her shampoo, vanilla, and something minty. 1 down, I say. She grips the edge of the table. Knuckles completely white. A barista walks over holding a rag. Hey guys, you can't have, exposed electronics on the tables. We've had weird issues with people fixing phones and leaving glass everywhere. Margot looks up at him, pure panic in her eyes. I'm not breaking glass, she says, voice cracking. It's just a motherboard, please. It'll take 2 minutes. I'll buy 3 coffees, whatever you want. Just please don't make us leave. The barista blinks, looks at me. I give him a pleading look. We're almost done, I say. He sighs. Just buy something, and don't scratch the wood. He walks away. Margot is breathing so fast. Hey, I say softly. It's okay. He's gone. She nods. Swallowing hard, I'm sorry, I hate getting in trouble. You're not in trouble, I say. I go back to the board. Second pin is twisted. I have to bend it sideways first, then up. Sweat is literally beading on my forehead. If I snap this, she's going to cry in this cafe. I pull it up. It holds. Third pin is easy. I sit back. Done, I say. She grabs the loop, leans over the board, squinting through the glass. She stares at it for a full 10 seconds. Then she just drops her head onto her arms on the table. Oh my God, she mumbles into her sleeves. Thank you so much. She sits up. Her eyes are actually watery. She quickly zips the bag back up, shoves the needle and flashlight into her deep jacket pockets. I have to go, she says suddenly. Wait, what? I say. I have to test it, she says, grabbing the bag. I need to put the CPU in before I lose my nerve. If I sit here drinking coffee, I'll just panic about whether it actually works. She stands up, looks down at me. Thursday, she says, same time. But we meet at the library. If it turns on, I'll buy you dinner. She turns and practically runs out of the cafe. I am left sitting at a wobbly table with 3 unopened sugar packets. The barista looks over at me from the counter. I just shrug. I buy a black coffee, go home, stare at my ceiling. I actually want it to be Thursday. Wednesday morning, my phone rings. It's my older sister, Corinne. I groan and answer it. Wesley, she says immediately. Mom said you haven't called her back about the insurance forms. I was busy, I say. Busy doing what? Corinne asks. You literally just sit in your apartment hoarding wires. I'm holding space for the fact that you're stressed with school, she continues, but your avoidance behaviors are becoming really toxic. It's a car insurance form, Corinne. It's not a toxic trait to forget a form. Why it is when it impacts the family dynamic, she counters. Anyway, I need a favor. No, I say. I didn't even say what it was yet. I don't care. Wesley, my car is making that rattling noise again. I need you to drive me to the mechanic on Thursday afternoon. I can't, I say. I have plans. Silence on the other end of the line. Heavy, judging silence. Plans? Corinne asks. Like, outside? Yes, outside. With a person. A date, she gasps. Sort of. Maybe. I don't know. Wesley, that's so validating. Who is she? What are her green flags? I'm hanging up now, I say. Wait, what time on Thursday? 4, I say. Perfect. The mechanic is at 2. You have plenty of time. Pick me up at 1:30 p.m. She hangs up. I stare at my phone. I hate my family. Thursday comes. I pick Corinne up in my beat-up Subaru. The passenger door only opens from the outside. I have to reach out the window to let her in. This car is a manifestation of your self-worth, Corinne says as she sits down. Put your seatbelt on, I tell her. We drop her car off at the mechanic. It takes way longer than expected because she tries to argue with the guy about his diagnostic communication style. By the time I get her back to her apartment, it's 3:40 p.m. I am going to be late. I speed toward campus. Park in a loading zone because the visitor lot is full. Sprint to the library. I get to the front steps at 4:10 p.m. Margot is sitting on the concrete wall near the entrance. She has a massive cardboard box sitting next to her. She looks completely miserable. I jog up to her. Hey, I'm so sorry I'm late, I say, breathing hard. My sister held me hostage. Margot looks up. She looks exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes. It didn't work, she says quietly. My heart drops. What? The pin's broke. No, she says, wrapping her arms around her knees. The board works. It posted. But my roommate poured oat milk into the top exhaust fan of my case this morning. I just stare at her. What? She said the fan noise was triggering her migraines. So she poured a drink into it to make it stop while it was running. I took the motherboard out in time, but everything else is in this box. She kicks the giant cardboard box lightly with her boot. I have to move out, she says, voice shaking. I can't live with her anymore. She's insane. She threw my keyboard in the hallway. I look at the box. It's huge, filled with computer components, a heavy steel case, loose cables, and a stuffed dinosaur. Where are you going to sleep? I ask. I don't know, she says. I applied for emergency campus housing, but the financial aid office said I need to print out 3 copies of my lease dispute, and I can't print anything because my computer is in a box, and the library printers have been down since Tuesday. She puts her face in her hands. I am so overwhelmed, she whispers. I don't know what to do. I stand there. I have known this girl for exactly 1 hour of collective time. She is a disaster. A beautiful, stressed out, hyper-fixated disaster. My car is parked in a loading zone, I say. We can put the box in the trunk. She looks up. Really? Yeah. And I have a printer at my apartment. You can print your forms there. She stands up so fast she almost trips. She grabs the heavy box. I take it from her. I got it, I say. It weighs like 50 pounds. We walk to the Subaru. I have to reach through the window to open her door. She doesn't even question it. She just climbs in, clutching her green jacket around her. I put the box in the back, get in the driver's seat. She is staring straight ahead. I'm sorry, she says suddenly. This isn't a date. I'm just using you for your printer. I laugh. It's fine, Margot. We'll print the stuff. It'll be fine. We drive to my apartment. The dashboard check engine light is glowing bright orange. She stares at it. Your O2 sensor is probably failing, she murmurs. I know, I say. We get to my building. Walk up 3 flights of stairs. I unlock my door, push it open. My apartment is a disaster. Pizza boxes, loose capacitors on the coffee table, a soldering iron resting dangerously close to a pile of mail. She walks in and looks around. I expect her to run away. Instead, her shoulders instantly drop. The tension completely leaves her body. Oh, she says, this makes sense. What makes sense? Your environment. It matches your problem-solving style. She takes her jacket off. She's wearing a faded black t-shirt with a worn-out band logo. She walks over to my desk, moves a pile of receipts. Where's the printer? She asks. Under the desk. It connects over Wi-Fi. I boot up my PC. She logs into her email, pulls up the lease dispute forms, hits print. The printer whirs, grinds, and flashes a red light. I groan. Out of paper? She asks, leaning under the desk. No. Paper jam. It always does this. I get on my knees next to her under the desk. It's cramped. Our shoulders bump. She smells like vanilla and rain. I pop the back of the printer open. Pull out a crumpled, shredded piece of paper. Got it, I say. Hit resume. It prints 3 perfect copies of her 30-page lease dispute. 90 pages total. It takes 10 minutes. We just sit on the floor while it prints. She pulls her knees to her chest. My roommate said I'm impossible to live with, she says quietly, staring at the flashing green light of the printer, because I don't like when people touch my desk, and I need the room cold at night, and I forget to talk when I'm coding. She looks at me. Am I impossible? I look at her, sitting on my cheap carpet, surrounded by my junk. No, I say. Your roommate poured milk into a running computer. Your roommate belongs in a federal prison. Margot actually laughs. A real, quiet laugh. It's the best sound I've heard in months. The printer finishes. She gathers the papers, shoves them into a manila folder she pulled from her backpack. I have to get these to the financial aid office before 5, she says. I look at the clock. It's 4:30 p.m. Let's go, I say. We run back down to the car, drive back to campus. Traffic is awful. She is bouncing her leg nervously the entire time. We pull up to the admin building at 4:50 p.m. I'll wait here, I say. Keep the engine running so I don't get a ticket. She nods, grabs the folder, and sprints out of the car. I sit in the loading zone, watch the clock. 4:55 p.m., 4:59 p.m., 5:10 p.m. She's not coming back out. I start getting nervous. 5:20 p.m. I text her. You okay? No reply. 5:30 p.m. The passenger door finally opens. She gets in, slams the door, stares straight ahead. She looks completely defeated. What happened? I ask. She just hands me a small, yellow, sticky note. I look at it. It says, requires secondary signature from leasing agent. The guy at the desk wouldn't take it, she says, voice totally hollow. He said because my roommate's name is on the original lease. I need the building manager to sign off on the dispute form before the school will process the emergency grant. And the leasing office closed at 5, so I can't submit it today, which means they can't assign me a dorm, which means I have nowhere to sleep tonight. She leans her head against the window. I'm just going to sleep in the library, she says. It's 24 hours. I'll hide in the basement stacks. I look at her. She looks so small and tired. No, I say. What? You're not sleeping in a library basement. You're sleeping on my couch. She turns her head to look at me. Wesley, no. I've bothered you enough. I took over your whole afternoon. I'm literally a stranger. You're not a stranger, I say. We fixed a motherboard together. That's basically a blood oath. She stares at me for a long time, trying to figure out if I'm joking. Are you sure? She asks softly. Yeah. I have extra blankets, and we still haven't eaten dinner. We drive back to my apartment. We stop at a grocery store on the way. Walk down the aisles. It's surreal. I am grocery shopping with a girl I met on a dating app 3 days ago. She is currently pushing a cart while carrying a box of frozen waffles. "Do you eat vegetables?" she asks, looking at my basket, which contains Hot Pockets and instant ramen. "Sometimes," I say defensively. "I'll make dinner," she says. She grabs bell peppers, onions, chicken, and some kind of sauce. We pay, head back to my place. We carry the groceries upstairs. I unlock the door and freeze. Standing in my kitchen, holding a blue Tupperware container, is my sister, Corinne. Corinne looks at me, then looks at Margot, then looks at the groceries. "Wesley," Corinne says, her eyes wide. "Who is this? I want to die." "Corinne, how did you get in here?" I ask, stepping in front of Margot. "Mom gave me your spare key last month to water your plants." "I don't have any plants." "Well, I brought you leftover casserole because you never eat real food." Corinne steps forward, putting on her empathetic therapist face. "Hi," Corinne says to Margot. "I'm Wesley's sister. I'm so glad he's finally making social connections." Margot looks terrified. She clutches the bag of bell peppers to her chest. "Hi," Margot whispers. "Corinne, you need to leave," I say, dropping my keys on the counter. Corinne ignores me. "Are you guys cooking together?" Corinne asks. "That is such a healthy bonding activity. Wesley usually just isolates." Margot looks at me, confused. "He doesn't isolate," Margot says defensively. "He helps people. He fixed my computer." Corinne's eyes light up. She senses drama. "Oh? He fixed your computer? Are you using him for tech support?" "Corinne," I yell. "I'm just asking," Corinne says, throwing her hands up. "I'm just trying to understand the dynamic here. Wesley has a history of poor boundary setting. He lets people walk all over him." Margot frowns. She steps out from behind me. She stands up perfectly straight. "He offered," Margot says, voice suddenly very firm. "And I am staying on his couch tonight because my housing situation is compromised. We are handling it. You shouldn't come into people's houses without asking." The kitchen is dead silent. Corinne is stunned. No one talks to Corinne like that. I am in awe. Corinne blinks. Her mouth opens, then closes. "Wow," Corinne says, her tone completely changing. "Okay, I see. I'm feeling very attacked right now. I was just trying to bring food. I'll go." Corinne grabs her purse off the stool, marches to the door. "Call Mom, Wesley," she snaps, and slams the door behind her. I stand there. I look at Margot. Margot looks at the door. Then she looks at me. She suddenly looks horrified. "Oh my God," she gasps. "I just yelled at your sister. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did that. I just got so mad. She was being mean to you." I start laughing. I can't help it. I laugh so hard I have to lean against the counter. Margot watches me, gripping the bell peppers. "Was it bad?" she asks, nervously. "It was the greatest thing I've ever seen," I say. "She's going to tell my mom." "I don't care." Margot smiles. A small, shy smile. "Okay," she says. "Can I use your cutting board?" We cook dinner. Well, she cooks. I chop onions badly, and she quietly corrects my knife angle. We eat sitting on the floor around the coffee table because I only have one chair. She tells me about her major, computer science. She's building an app that tracks local noise pollution levels. She talks for 20 minutes straight about AP integration. I listen to every word. I don't care about software, but I care about the way her hands move when she explains it. She catches herself rambling, stops abruptly, looks down at her plate. "Sorry," she says. "I talk too much about systems." "No," I say quickly. "Don't stop. I like it." She blushes, hides her face behind her water glass. Later, I set up the couch for her, bring out my thickest blanket, 2 pillows. I turn the thermostat down to 65 because she said she likes it cold. She comes out of the bathroom wearing an oversized gray hoodie. She looks tiny on my couch. "Good night, Wesley," she says quietly. "Good night, Margot," I say. I go to my bedroom, shut the door, lie on my mattress on the floor. I can hear her breathing in the living room. I feel responsible. I feel like I have to fix this whole mess for her. Friday morning, sunlight hitting my window. I wake up, walk out to the living room. Margot is already awake. She's sitting cross-legged on the floor, sorting through her box of computer parts. "Morning," I say, voice raspy. She looks up. "I have to go to the leasing office today," she says. No good morning, just straight to the problem. They open at 9. I need that signature or I'm homeless for the weekend. I check my phone. It's 8:15 a.m. "Okay," I say. "Let's go fight a landlord." She smiles. We get dressed, head out to the car. We drive to her apartment complex. It's one of those massive, overpriced student living buildings. Fake luxury, plastic countertops. We walk into the leasing office. There is a guy sitting behind a glass desk. He looks like he peaked in a frat 4 years ago. Slicked back hair, wearing a vest over a dress shirt. Name tag says, Hank. Margot walks up to the desk, slides the manila folder across the glass. Hi, she says, her voice tight. I need a signature on page 4 to release me from my lease. Hank sighs, doesn't even look at the papers. We talked about this yesterday, Margot. You can't just break a lease because of a roommate disagreement. It wasn't a disagreement, Margot says, getting louder. She destroyed my property. She poured milk into my computer. Hank leans back in his expensive chair. Look, unless there's a police report for vandalism, it's a civil issue between roommates. I can't authorize a release without a penalty fee. The fee is 2 months' rent. Margot just freezes. Her hands drop to her sides. 2 months? She whispers. I don't have that. My grant covers exactly my tuition and current rent. If I pay that, I can't eat. Hank gives a fake, sympathetic smile. I'm sorry, it's corporate policy. Maybe talk to your parents? Margot looks like she's going to throw up. She steps back from the desk. She looks at me, absolute panic in her eyes. I step up to the desk. I put both hands on the glass, lean over it. Listen, Hank, I say. My voice is dangerously calm. She is leaving that apartment today. Her roommate deliberately destroyed thousands of dollars of electronics. If you want to play games about corporate policy, I will personally go upstairs, call the police, file a destruction of property report, and drag your management company into small claims court for failing to provide a safe living environment. We will make this an absolute legal nightmare for you. Or you can sign the paper. And she leaves quietly. Hank looks at me. He evaluates if I am bluffing. I am completely bluffing. I have zero money for a lawyer, but I am staring at him like I am ready to burn the building down. Hank sighs heavily, grabs a pen, flips to page 4, scribbles his signature, slams the folder back across the desk. She has until noon tomorrow to get her remaining stuff out, Hank mutters. Keys on my desk by 1 p.m. I grab the folder, hand it to Margot. Let's go, I say. We walk out of the office. The moment the glass doors close behind us, Margot grabs my arm. She is squeezing so tight it actually hurts. You just yelled at a landlord for me, she says, breathlessly. I think I just blacked out, I say. She laughs. A loud, ringing laugh in the middle of the parking lot. She hugs me. She throws her arms around my neck and buries her face in my shoulder. I freeze for a second, then I wrap my arms around her. She's holding on to me like I'm a life raft. Thank you, she whispers into my jacket. Come on, I say softly. We have to get this to the financial aid office. We get back in the Subaru, drive to campus. This time we go inside together. Hand the signed paperwork to the admin lady. The lady stamps it. Approved, the lady says. We have an empty single dorm in West Hall. You can pick up the keys at 3 today. Margot slumps against the counter in relief. Oh, thank God, she says. We walk out of the building. It's only 11 a.m. We have 4 hours until I get the keys, Margot says. What do we do now? We need to replace your power supply, I say. If we're going to rebuild your PC in your new room. Her eyes light up. Really? We're building it today? Obviously, I say. We drive to the local electronics superstore. It's massive. Fluorescent lights buzzing. Aisles of components. Margot is in her element. She walks past the pre-builts with absolute disgust. We head to the power supply aisle. She starts reading the boxes. I need at least 850 watts, she mutters. Fully modular. Gold-rated. She grabs a Corsair box, reads the back. An employee walks over. Blue polo shirt, khaki pants. He looks at Margot, then looks at me. Need help finding something for the lady? He asks me. He talks directly to me. Ignores her completely. Margot stiffens. She hates this. She hates when guys in tech spaces talk over her. I step back, put my hands in my pockets. Don't ask me, I say to the guy. She's the one building it. The employee looks at Margot, condescending smirk on his face. Oh, building a little gaming rig? He asks. Make sure you don't get a power supply that's too big. It can be confusing to cable manage. Margot looks at him. Her face goes completely blank. I need an 850-watt fully modular unit with native Sci5 support because I'm running a 4080 and undervolting the CPU to manage thermal throttling in a small form factor case. She says, her voice flat and cold. Your inventory says you have the Seasonic Focus GX in the back. Go get it. The guy blinks. His smirk vanishes. He stammers. Let me check the back. He scrambles away. I start laughing. You are terrifying, I say. He was being patronizing. She huffs, crossing her arms. I hate that. You handled it perfectly, I tell her. We buy the power supply. We grab lunch at a terrible fast food place across the street, eat fries in my car. At 3 p.m., we go to West Hall. She gets her keys. We go to her new dorm. It's small. White brick walls, a twin bed, a desk. It smells like industrial cleaner. It's perfect, she says, dropping her backpack on the bed. It's quiet. We spend the next 2 hours moving the rest of her stuff from her old apartment. I carry boxes of clothes. She carries her monitor like it's a holy relic. By 6 p.m., everything is in the new room. Okay, I say, cracking my knuckles. Time for surgery. We sit on the floor of her new dorm, the heavy steel case between us. We unpack the new power supply. She is so focused. She routes the cables behind the motherboard tray. Her fingers are fast and precise. No shaking now. She's in the zone. I hold the flashlight, pass her screws. Zip tie, she requests. Hand out. I hand her a zip tie. Snips, she says. I hand her the wire cutters. We work in total silence for an hour. Just the sound of metal clicking and Velcro tearing. Finally, everything is plugged in. The giant graphics card is seated. The cooler is mounted. She plugs the power cable into the wall. She sits back, takes a deep breath, looks at me. You want to press it? She asks, pointing at the power button on the case. No, I say. It's your rig. You press it. She reaches out. Her hand is trembling just a little bit. She presses the button. Fans spin up. RGB lights flare to life. A single beep comes from the motherboard speaker. The monitor flashes. The BIOS screen appears. It works. It perfectly works. Margot collapses backward onto the cheap dorm carpet, staring at the ceiling. We did it, she breathes. We actually did it. I lean back against her bed frame, looking at the glowing computer. Looking at her, she is covered in dust. Her glasses are smudged. She looks beautiful. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I pull it out. It's a text from Corinne. Mom wants you to bring that girl to Sunday dinner. Do not ruin this. I groan and let my head hit the bed frame. What's wrong? Margot asks, sitting up. My family, I say. They want you to come to dinner on Sunday. You don't have to go. They are a nightmare. Margot looks at me. She looks at the glowing computer screen. She reaches out and touches my knee. I'll go, she says softly. Really? Yeah. She looks away, suddenly shy again. We still haven't actually gotten coffee, she points out, like on a real date. I smile. Tomorrow, I say. Tomorrow morning. No computers, no motherboards, just coffee. Okay, she says. She stands up, pulls me up from the floor. We stand there in the tiny dorm room, fluorescent lights flickering outside the window. I realize my life is never going to be the same. I realize I'm entirely okay with that. She walks me to the door. I step out into the hallway. Good night, Wesley, she says, leaning against the door frame. Good night, Margot. I walk down the hall, pull my car keys out of my pocket. The Subaru needs a new O2 sensor. I have to fix my own problems tomorrow. But right now, I'm just listening to the heavy dorm door click shut behind me, smiling like an idiot, walking toward the stairs.